one of the first Moro Civil Engineering graduates of UP Diliman. He has taken various positions in the field of development, such as the Sulu Provincial Administrator and Region Secretary of DPWH-ERMM. He is now a member of the Parliament of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Speaking about building in a millennial era is Brod Don Loong. Please come.
Builder, I define it not only by the building of structures, but actually by assembling raw materials using manpower, technology, systems to build a structure, a product, or a service that benefits mankind. Therefore, as electrical engineers, computer engineers, chemical engineers, genetic engineers, you belong to those types of people, builders, that benefit the community and mankind in general. In the millennial era, why I mentioned that? Because this is the era of the internet, of Facebook, Instagram, and the internet and artificial intelligence that is threatening the professions that we have. Doctors are threatened, lawyers are threatened, and even engineers, because right now, my wife, who's a doctor, really gets annoyed with me. She's also a UP graduate from UP Med. And when I'm sick, I usually Google what is my sickness, and I tell myself, these are the medicines I would be taking. And she tells me, I studied for 20 years to be a doctor, and you had 20 seconds, and now you're a doctor. And that is the threat of the internet and the knowledge explosion. Because right now, general knowledge is not enough. We have to have specialized knowledge. And speaking of value, we need to put into this world a value that somebody with internet for 1 week will not be able to do. And that is why we have to have specialized knowledge, specialized skills, to be out in the world, to be able to do things that a person could not Google and be an expert in a span of 5 to 10 days. So, in my speech, I'll be breaking it down into 3. The first part will be suggestions for you as students. Things to remember, 11 short points. And then 11 short points on things that you can do after you graduate and look for a job. And then 11 sub-points about things you can do to become the best that you can be, to be leaders of your own field. So I'll run down to those 11 points. Number 1 is do an introspection. Yes, you have a course, but what are you? What kind of animal are you? When I say animal, what is your instinct? Do you love to swim, to fly, to run? Each one of us have our own inclinations. Whatever, you can be an electrical engineer and you have fascination for information technology, for other stuff, for sales. So right now, as students, you must already try to ask yourself, ano ba talagang hilig ko? What makes me happy? If income and money and resources is not a problem, what would you be doing? Then, try to focus on that. Those are your strengths and hone that. If you're a horse, then become a runner. If you're a fish, then swim. It's no use to force a fish to run. You will destroy your strengths. And number 2, write down what you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. When I was your age, I already had that list that by this year I'll graduate, and then this year, and by age somewhere 32, 35, I'll be Secretary of the Department of Public Works and Highways in ERMM. And I was able to meet that target, although I was late for about 10 years. But the point is, once you have a target listed down, and it becomes a hard visual thing placed in front of your mirror, then it becomes a strong calling to be able to resist failures, challenges, and threats, because you always have your direction. Number 3, have a technical mastery that few people can do. My wife is an anesthesiologist. She removes pain temporarily. And for 15 to 20 minutes of work, she can be paid 20,000 to 10,000 for just injecting something. Now, why is she paid a lot? I said, that's already what I earn for so many weeks, and you do that in 15 minutes? Because an anesthesiologist have to have that special technical knowledge that very few people can do. There are sometimes in a city there are 20 to 30 anesthesiologists while there are hundreds of doctors. So in your field, geodetic engineering, chemical engineering, computer engineering, develop that competency that few people can do so that the value increases. Because what we can do, the services we do, is related to the law of supply and demand. If many people can do it, the value will be low. But if few people can do it, then the value will be high. In genetic engineering, take advantage of the technology already available. And if you're the one with all those technology, integrated with other kinds of technology, then you will have the advantage, and then your value will increase. Number 4, while technical skills are good, soft skills are also very important. Technical skills can be your skeleton, but without the skin and the organs that keeps that together, it won't stand. So soft skills, develop that, the ability to relate with people. In UP, you're able to meet with a lot of people, rich, poor, average, from the provinces and from the town. Engage with them. Don't just focus on your books. Master the soft skills that are required in the actual workforce and providing value. 5, learn to communicate, as what was mentioned by Brod Alex a while ago. And when we say communicate, learn to write, learn to speak, and learn to present in front of people. Because when you're in the workforce, you need to present your ideas. And if you do not have the elevator principle, the elevator plugin, if you're with a billionaire in an elevator and you have 15 seconds to present your idea for it to be funded, and if you can't present that in 15 seconds, you lose the opportunity. So, while in college, take advantage of that. Be active in organizations, in activities that allows you to present, because those are the trainings needed to be able to leapfrog from a young person to become a leader in your profession without needing to wait for 30 more years. They always tell me, Don, you look too young. When I got the award for UP Alumni Engineers, the one at the registration told me, how old are you? You're too young. I've been waiting for my award for more than 3 decades already. But that is why you are young, but take advantage of all that will allow you to leapfrog, not needing to wait too long. Number 6, take advantage of the UP education to network and maximize. What is that commonality between De La Salle, Ateneo de Manila, and UP? It's not just the education and the knowledge that is available in the internet and all the books, but it's actually the power of network. Because you are classmates with the tycoons of the industry, with the owners of the businesses. Be friends with them, because your social capital combined is what makes UP very potent in development and improvement and progress. Because you're classmates with people from Sulu, people from the urban, people from abroad, the owners of industries, then establish networks. Don't live in a silo. Be friends, network, be active in organizations. For example, in the UP Beta Epsilon, I was lucky to be classmates with the grandson of D.M. Consuni, the leader of the construction industry. And as classmates and fraternity grads, so we did group studies in their house in Forbes. So, for a provinciano like me from Sulu, to be studying in their house in Forbes Park, it's very inspiring. And after you study, you get to talk to his dad, who was president of the construction firm that time, and president of the company right now. It's inspiring to be able to meet with these kinds of people. So you have to optimize the network, not only with your age level, but with those 5 years, 10 years ahead of you. Because the ability to talk and communicate with them is critical, because when you go to the workforce, your boss will be 5, 10, 20 years ahead of you. And if you have honed that ability to dialogue and talk to them, then you can leapfrog your progress. And that's, I think, I must give acknowledgement to the fraternity for allowing me to become good friends with people who are 5, 10, 20 years from my age. Like Brad Nicky there, and Brod Alex, you know. And networking is, and even right now, you look for mentors. Look who are the leaders of your industry in computer engineering, in geodetic engineering, chemical. Who are the leaders of your industry? Text them, call them. Can we have dinner? My treat. I just like to talk to you for 30 minutes. And that works because ultimately, once you do that, then they become your good friend, and you learn a lot from them. And then you can leapfrog again your progress. I did that more than 10, 15 years ago with Doc Sajid. He's a mentor. I said, Doc, can we have dinner? And then, you know, it would be an honor to talk to you because you get ideas far ahead of your generation. And that allows you also to progress in your field. 7, failures build resiliency because only the resilient survives. And if you're from UP and you fail, congratulations, that's good because that is the one that tempers you. I failed a lot of times, you know. When I was in first year, I cried a lot in front of the education building. I was crying like a baby because I said, I don't want to go home a failure after all my relatives and my kababayan said, ang galing-galing naman dito. Oh, para sa UP, I don't want to go home. And then when I was crying, sitting down under the acacia tree, somebody tapped my shoulder and said, Brother, said, let me introduce to you Christ. Brother, I am a Muslim. So, but you know, those failures makes us strong. I said, I will fight on. And I studied, you know, because, you know, it's very difficult when you're a Muslim, Filipino studying in UP. There are 26,000 students in UP, but there are only 26 of us, undergraduate Muslim students. In engineering before, there were 4,000 walking around here, and there were only 4 to 5 Muslim Filipino students here. So for me, internally, I was challenged that, you know, I should not fail, because very few of us come here. And I said, I have a purpose, I should go back and, you know, finish the longest roads in my community. So, but I failed a lot. But I persisted because I believe that there must be a purpose. And all those failures strengthened me. And I remember every time we had an exam here, after the exam, you know, sometimes even in the Holy Week, when everybody else is enjoying, the exam will end, I will go out and run the academic oval. That's 2.2 kilometers. And I'd run more than 10 laps. And each time I run, I thought, makakain mo ba ako? Those are very hard times, you know. And I talked to some of my batchmates, and you know, post-traumatic stress syndrome, sometimes right now, up to now, I would have a dream every 6 months. In my dream, I would go to a class. I said, hindi ka nag-exam kahapon, tapos na exam, hindi ko alam. Parang yung fear na yun na, naku, may isang subject ako, tapos na exam, hindi pa ako nakapunta. Because, you know, in UP, we are like, sometimes you enjoy the networking, enjoy the friends, enjoy the advocacy. When I was in UP, I had a passion for fighting for the moral Muslim-Filipino issues. Because when I was in first year, those were the times when, in the tabloids, that they would say, Muslim bombs LRT. Sabi ko, grabe naman, bakit naman ganun ang tabloid? And my teacher in English, Miss Ma'am Yolanda Tumaldan, would call me. She would say, Mr. Mustafa, why are the Abu Sayyaf killing innocent people? And I don't know. And I wanted to tell her, Ma'am, hindi ko po kasalanan yun. I mean, but she would look so intense. So it became a passion for me, being UP, being a minority, that, you know, there's something that I have to fight for, an injustice. So while I was in UP, I was active in the UP Muslim Students Association, in other organizations that fought for the betterment of rights. Because I said I was not only here to study, but I'm here also to advocate, to do some change. And because of that, in my first year and second year, while I was having difficulty in studying, I was gravitated also to joining rallies, to having activities, but it helped. All those times that I had advocated while I was studying civil engineering allowed me to communicate, allowed me to express my ideas. So as a student, I also was able to hone those communication skills, those ability to relate with other people. So in a sense, even if I was active in that and my academics suffered a little bit, it was still for a purpose. But then when my academics became really seriously, when one of my fraternity brods already told me, sabi niya, Don, kumusta yung pag-aaral mo? Sabi, kagagaling ko lang kasi may activity kami. Brad, gano'n ka na mabuti. So, in fairness, somebody older was a teacher told me, Brad, you study better. And I realized, no. And you know what I realized? We all have passions, We want to do something. And sometimes, it takes all of our energies. And minsan nakakalimutan nyo bahala, absent muna ako doon. What I did was, being able to join the fraternity, I was able to have stronger friends with Jonathan Yap, who was also taking civil engineering, and Norman Manginaw, who was also taking civil engineering. And we spent more time together. We had group studies, with Victor. They were having difficulties also in classes, and I realized that your passion, which is your heart, and your mind, while in UP, you must align them if you want to survive. If you want to survive UP and you're really having a difficult time, it's time to coalesce with those of the same organization, same course, same subject, mag-group study kayo, align yourselves because in case of emergency, kailangan mag-match. Ibig sabihin, kahit hindi kayo nag-aaral, paglabas nyo, pag lumakwatsa kayo, you're still thinking about the same subject. That way, hindi mangyayari yung pupunta ka sa klase, tapos na pala yung exam. Although, nangyari pa rin, na tatlo kami, dumating sa klase, sabi niya, pumasok kayo, tapos na yung exam kahapon ha! Yung pala, talagang sinabi na, huwag niyong sabihan yung tatlong yun na mag-exam tayo. Which was a lesson, kasi Brad din yung teacher na yun. So, kahit Brad, walang special. So talagang, we were forced to really study. And when you're in the real world, I realized mali naman talaga yung mag-cramming. As early as now. Because in the real world, you're not supposed to cram. One time, I asked for a lecture from our summa cum laude candidate, Iris Leoncio. He said, payaw naman ng notes, pasiros ko lang. Kitang makapal na. Tapos tumingin siya sa akin, sabi niya, bakit? Sabi ko, payaw, isisirox ko lang kasi, di ba bukas sa exam? Ngayon ko pala mag-aaral? Kasi during that time, yung mga tatlong major exam, sabay-sabay, di ba? Tapusin ko muna yung exam nito, tapos ito, buong oras. Hindi pala dapat talaga nangyayari na hindi ka matulog for the exam. Because in work, you cannot do that. Hindi talaga pwede yung cramming. So as early as now, the real world requires you to really, spend, given the time to do the work. So, be active in activities that will contribute to your curriculum vitae. On hindsight, while those activities, like the Muslim activities, affected my studies because it took some of my time. On the other hand, in the real world, it helped. Because, again, as a member of parliament of the Bangsamoro, as a former Secretary of Public Works, that is my world. That I have been helping, that my intention of studying in UP, I will bring back there to help my communities. So, in your case, the same. Whatever circle you have, try to imagine what activities that will help you in the real world. And lastly, for students, assess your weaknesses. What are you weak at? They say, minsan pag sa engineering, hindi marunong mag-sulat, learn to do that, na magsulat. Alam ko, nung first year pa ako sa Kalayaan, one of my friends, the one who ran for senator, Samira Guto, gave me a logbook and said, Don, welcome to UP. magsulat ka dito sa logbook, maggawa ka ng parang blog and comments. Eh, hindi pa ako taga-sulat, mas mahilig ako sa math, you know? Wala talaga akong confidence. I had no confidence before in writing because I had a lot of grammatical errors. Even in speaking, I had a lot. So, writing, speaking was one of my weaknesses. But I knew early on that if you're only purely technical that a computer can do, you will not be able to leapfrog your status. It is important that if you want to progress, to become a leader in your industry, in your business, in your community, that you will be able to communicate. And the number one really there, sa organizations, yung magawa ng solicitation letter, ikaw yung mag-volunteer kasi iko-correct ka naman doon. If you're requested to do summaries, briefings, go ahead, do that. If you're requested to speak in front of people, go ahead, do that, because that training will prepare you and allow you to leapfrog. Leapfrog is SPS, laging sinasabi yan. What does leapfrog mean? It means that if you're 20 years delayed, that Philippines is 20 years delayed compared to Singapore, how can Philippines leapfrog Singapore within a span of 3 or 5 years? Now the point I'm telling you is do all this, and you don't have to wait until you're 55 to become a leader of your industry. I became one of the youngest secretary of the Department of Public Works and Highways in the ARMM, and I had helped build more than 1,000 kilometers and hundreds of infrastructure. In spite of my young age, leading more than 1,000 people who are twice my age. When I was road specialist of one of the largest roads projects, a 222-kilometer road project worth $10 billion, funded by the US Millennium Challenge Corporation. I was supervising 4 major contractors, so many foreigner consultants, and I was so young. They always ask me, what's your age? Kaya minsan pinapahaba ko yung bigote ko because they always underestimate. You're too young to be the one correcting us, and you know. But that can be done as long as you all do all these points to be able to leapfrog. That goes without saying, to become, to continually be better in many things. When I was studying in the house of Si Consunhi, pagpagod na ako mag-aral, before going to the toilet, you'd see the study area of Si Consunhi, who is now president of the DMCI Holdings. And you'll see a library as big as this wall, full of books. I think he had a master's in AM also. So there's a lot of management books. And during that time, I did not have any money to buy even a book. So what I did, my Xerox machine, my bond paper, pinindot ko, gumana. So I got a book, and I still remember it was 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And every night na nag-aaral ako, I would Xerox mga 40 pages. You know, so pag stress na ako, so binabasa ko na yun. So may handout na. Okay lang naman yun. Kumbaga, ang dami namang bond paper eh. So, dalawang librong na Xerox ko for all those studying there. The other one was principle-centered leadership. Because, you know, when you're pushed to the wall, when you're so stressed out, well, aside from crying, aside from asking God for help, as Muslims, we are told you have to change in order for God to help you. So, I had to really study, how can I help myself? So, yeah, I read those books. And in 2016, when I was awarded by the Alumni engineers as for distinction in government service, sabay kami ng may-ari ng libro na yun, si Sid Consumi. Siya yung number 1 na awarded. And I told him, Brad, maraming salamat dun sa library na napasirox mo. It helped me a lot. Because, you know, during those times, hindi pa malakas yung internet. Books. Master a few books that will become the operating system of your mind. I believe that we all have the hardware. And as computer engineers, you know that a computer can only be as strong as the software that is placed into it. That is why there's a difference between an Android phone, Samsung, and another phone like Nokia that doesn't use the Android system or the Apple system. And that's why our brain must be the same. Program your brain to have all those capabilities. Because the phone, dati nung nag-aaral pa kami, was only for calling. But now the phone is for recording, for watching videos, for Googling, for music, for everything. So just like us, we, knowledge workers, ganun din tayo dapat. Hindi ka lang pwedeng maging genetic engineer or chemical engineer or computer engineer. At the sidelines, you have to do the other stuff that creates value so that you will be ahead of the pack. And soon you will be graduating. Now, I will be going to the graduation part. And nung gagraduate na ako, when I was really stressed out, one way for me to be inspired to really fight it out pa rin, kahit medyo challenge na, nagbabike ako dyan sa amphitheater. Because nabasa ko doon, you have to visualize graduating. So nagbabike ako, pumunta ako sa amphitheater mga 6 p.m. Sabi ko, Don, dito ka mag-march pag graduate ka na. Biglang, walang tao yan ha, biglang may nagsabi, may tao po! May tao! Doon pala nag-date yung mga kapaganoon. Muntik na akong himatayin. Pero, visualize. Dito ako gagraduate. And I told myself, because when we were first year, they would tell you, you are the creme de la creme. And before graduation, sabi ko, graduate ka lang doon, lahat ng problema mo, solve na, wala ka na, you will be already in the clouds. Pag-graduate ko, talagang nasa clouds ka na. Di mo makita kung saan ka mag-apply, parang wala na. Ang hirap pala mag-apply. Gagawa ka ng mga biodata. So, but mahirap ka mag-apply. And doon papasok yung mga networks mo, your circle of friends. So think about ngayon pa lang, think about already of expanding your network. Have affiliations. What's great with the fraternity is that it is active even after you graduate. That is what keeps me back here in UP, in spite of the fact that I'm already there in Sulu. Kasi all other organizations ang problema, hindi na active pag graduate ka na. Wala na pakialaman. Although I'm active with the UP Association of Civil Engineers, and I had bosses who were part of the UP ASS. Kasama ko sa NEDA, naging boss ko pa sa Department of Transportation, who taught me how to do memoranda. But the point is, before graduating, expand already your networks. Try to do internship, because parang pag-aasawa yan minsan, Piliin mo talaga kung saan ka pupunta. Nung may girlfriend ako, tapos parang malapit na akong ma-inlove, unfortunately, I became logical. I said, kung ma-inlove ako rito, maging base na ako sa Luzon. Unfortunately, without prejudice. I said, hindi pwede. Wala pang internet doon Sabi ko, kailangan ang mapangasawa ko taga dun sa amin. Because my passion is serving back the community. So, sabi ko, I had to look for the one that I will get to marry, and I will do everything that can be done in order to do that. So what I did, I organized a professional association of all those studying in Metro Manila from my community, with the intention of finding a wife. See, and that is conscious. And if you can do that for the one that you will marry, you can do that for the one that you will work in. Because, meaning, choose a company. Don't go by accident na, sige, nagkataon, kaibigan ko, doon siya nakilala. But choose a company that will make you big, that will make you learn, that will make you grow, that will make you be the best that you can be. The first job, is something that you will learn on and can bring you to places. Your number 2, and I did this, the one that you are applying will read all your FB and Instagram posts for the past 10 years. So be careful of what you have posted. May mga nag-apply sa akin, mag-interview. Palapit pa lang siya, memorize ko na yung mga lahat ng mga pinost niya. Meron isa naman nag-interview, ang galing na, pasado na. But sabi ko, start ka lang. It took me 2 minutes to just Google her Facebook account and check her previous post. Disqualified na kagad. So be careful of what you post online, because it can, stereotype who you are. Lalo na pag mag-apply na kayo. 3, as I said, scan industries where you can grow, where you can advance, where you can learn. 4, government work is not bad. Government work, especially now with the 4 tranches. Dati yung sweldo na 80,000, ngayon mahigit 200,000 na. When I was working for the Millennial Challenge Corporation, More than 3,000 US dollars na sweldo. Malaki na yun that time. No? Kasi government salaries, kung 3,000 ka, government salaries of executive level, mga 2,000 US dollars. Pero ngayon, government salary, especially for top management, tumataas na. It's already 160 to 200. So, it is competitive. And for example, if you apply for DPWH or any other government agency, one thing that you must be ready, pinuntahan ko ang head nun. Sabi ko, Secretary, I saw in the internet that this item is vacant. I want to apply for that item. Sabi niya, I'll call the admin. Puno na daw. I said, it's there in the internet, it's posted. Vacant. Ay, meron na pa yan. Be prepared for that kind of answers because, yun nga, meron lang nauna kasi mga insider na tinatawag nila. Although bawal yun, but what you can do is just to apply, meron mga, pwede namang yung parang casual or daily wage. Start with that, be patient. Kasi pag insider ka na, then you can draw. Because in these government agencies, they're already competitive and you get to use the resources of government to help the communities in a profession that is tailor-made to you. So, 5, and when you get to be working, especially in government, minsan routine namin pinapagawa sa'yo, I do this, do that, do this memo. Tapos sabi mo, pambihira, nag-aaral ako sa UP, tapos ito lang pinapagawa sa akin, napaka-chicken naman. Accept that, do that, but then, do continuous learning. Study more, utilize all the trainings that they have. On weekends, study, take master's degree, take diploma courses. Use that long time na hindi ka pa binibigyan ng malaking responsibility to train yourself more. I was lucky with that kind of principle because I had all these one-month trainings. I applied. There's a lot of trainings abroad. I had a 4-month training in the United Kingdom worth 2 million for an executive course. I had a 1-month training in the United States for free again on leadership. I had 1-month training to climb the highest mountain in Africa on a global outward-bound leadership training. This, you might say, ay, kapagod, but those are the value capital that you had. It's a business, those are your investments on yourselves. And again, even while working, you expand your network, you continuously hard work and do hard work. And what I have noticed, I am lucky to become head to organizations that are more than 1,000. And what is consistent that I look for an employee is number 1, completed staff work. You will ultimately be working under a supervisor, and don't forget that word, completed staff work. What is completed staff work? It is a work that is equivalent to when it reaches the boss, all the boss that has to say is yes or no. Meaning you have done all the completed staff work, all the research, when the boss says, so what are our alternatives? You say 1, 2, and 3. What are our risks? I say, I did the research of 1, 2, and 3. And then, will you bet your life on this output? And you say, yes, is this the best that you can do? Yes. Because when you do completed staff work in the real world, again, you will leapfrog. Instead of getting your promotion after 10 years, after 1 year, you can be head of an organization. I have worked for ARM and I have worked for others. They start as executive assistants, but since they have good technical skills, good soft skills, good completed staff work, they have initiative, they have proactiveness, they start from an executive assistant to the deputy head of the operations department in 2 years. So, well, if it's okay with you that you wait for 20 years before you get promoted, you don't have to do that. But if you're impatient in reaching your dreams earlier, then do the completed staff work. Completed staff work, below that is initiative, below that is doing more than what is required, going the extra mile, working with excellence, having foresight to ensure that you solve problems for the boss. Be known as a person who does hard work, who has integrity in your organization, and who solves problems, have the human relations skills. There are some people from UP or from other better schools, they go, mayabang, kasi UP ako, you know, and they don't, no matter what kind of social capital they have, if parang sabi nyo, oh, barkada tayo, parang bad tips, si boss, no? Kaya nga, and doing that, what goes around, comes around. Whatever you say to 3 people is never a secret. So kung may 3 kayo, sabi mo, ano, gago talaga si boss, no? Pag 3 na yan, hindi na sikreto yan. The only thing is a secret kung ikaw lang. And if you backbite in the office, ultimately it will degrade even your technical capacity. So never backbite. Always be the defender of those absent. Be known for your integrity and that will, and be humble. Kasi alam mo naman ang problema natin taga-UP pag UP, yabang, di ba? So, you know, try to be as humble as possible. And lastly, for you who are soon to be graduates, get employed agad and treat your parents because you know your parents asked you to study for 20 years and they're just waiting. If you delay, you never know. Don't be unlike me. After I graduated, I was going to take the board exam and just 2 months before the board exam, told Mommy, padalan mo ako ng pera, additional sana pang-review. Kasi, you know, finally, after so many years na pinaaral, malapit na, 2 months na lang. And then 2 days after, I got a phone call, sabi niya, your mom died. And it's so unfortunate, you know, all the idealism, all the hard work. And when in fact, on her birthday, 2 years prior, she would spend her money, sabi niya, Don, may 10,000 ako dito. Birthday ko, ano, mag-SM tayo, sa North. Sabi niya, ano ba kailangan mo? Sabi ko, kailangan ko ng study table. She spent her 5,000 to buy me a study table. And then the 5,000 pinang-date namin. And yet, hindi ko na-libre siya even after graduating because hindi ko na naabutan. So you as college students, try to graduate agad because college is like a terminal building of an airport, of a port, or a bus. You're here with the intention of graduating and leaving with a bus. Don't get too entertained in the having friends in the terminal building that ultimately you miss your bus. Or worst of all, you don't ride the bus or the boat or the plane and you go home sabi mo, ay, wala na lang. Focus that attention that you're in a terminal building, network all you can, know all the technicals, but take the bus. And then give thanks to your parents because they have worked so hard. And when that time comes that you can leapfrog, be a leader that is known of integrity because when you're on top, integrity will be the most important. Courage because you need to be brave in order to create changes because changes will create a lot of enemies. 3, the difference between those with technical skills and hard work and you is when you have the eligibilities, have the master's degrees, have the, you know, my good friends, best friends, Norman Mangginaw and Jonathan Yap, na nahirapan din, pareho kami halos umiiyak, but we made it. After their engineering degree, they had the UP MBA, and they became leaders of industries, construction. Yung isa ngayon nasa Indonesia, building billions worth of housing development. That's Jonathan Yap. And yung isa naman, Vice President for Design and Construction na dito sa SM, and who's also constructing by the billions. When during college years, namumroblema pa kami sa Pansit Canton na 5 piso kasi wala na kaming pera. I had to tutor elementary and high school kids before because I didn't have money and I was paid 4,000 a month just to be able to survive. And the owner of the parents of the kids were only grade 3 and grade 5, but they knew how to fabricate steel gates for and elevators. So, you know, the lesson thing that I learned there is that you don't need to have a degree even to prosper. But what you need is a skill that the world needs, a specialized skill. And if you're good in fabricating, grade 3, grade 5, you can prosper. So, it's really, as what Alex has said, creating a value, creating a niche that is needed by the world. Continue the networking, be a mentor and a coach, be a model of hard work, have the balance of life and train second liners, and try to leave a legacy. When I was working for the Summer Road project, I was earning by the dollars and had a condo in Ortigas and got to buy my car kagad. I was happy, although I was far from Mindanao and Sulu. I was offered to become secretary, but I preferred the Millennium Challenge, which I was referred also by a Brod Alex, who once worked for Ayala, or still working, palitar na rin. You know what I realized? That we, as people who are knowledge workers, value-based workers, we are like stores. You can have good quality products in a store. But if your store is in the mountains, not in the highways, nobody will notice your store. And therefore, nobody will use your products and services. And that is networking. That is the value of networking. Of course, even if you are in the main highway, if the quality of your product is bad, nobody will go back there. But if the quality of your product is good, and you have enough network to ensure that if somebody needs that kind of talent, that they could tap you, then well and good. And that's why I'd like to thank as well the Brods who had, in my career, referred me when they had needed somebody to work on it. So, when I was there in Samar, I ate a lot of shrimps and prawns, and I had a mild stroke. And when you have a mild stroke, all this blood supply ends, and you're almost gonna fall. And I thought I was gonna die. And I said, am I gonna die, oh God? Graduate ako ng UP, one of the first Moro to have graduated. Did all the trainings in the US, in the UK, in the UP, sa AIM din. But I was never able to go back home and finish the roads in my hometown. Because I was afraid, kasi doon magulo, may mga karma, maraming kidnapping. Because I was afraid that I might be killed. And then, during that time when I was having the milestone, I realized, ang bihira, hindi pala bala o bomba yung makapatay sa akin, prawns and crabs. Eh kung ang prawn and crab pala makakapatay sa akin, sabi ko, oh Diyos ko, pag ibigyan mo pa ako ng oras, uuwi na ako dun sa community ko, and I will help them to the best of my capacity as a UP civil engineer to give back. Oh God, sabi ko, because I will no longer be scared of warlords and bombs and bullets, because if God wants to kill me, just by using crabs and shrimps, I can die. But with this protection, even if I'm in the middle of a war zone, I can help. And thank God, because of that decision, I resigned and went back to ARM and became DPWH Secretary and was able to build more than 1,000 kilometers in the most isolated towns in the Bangsamoro areas. And what's that for you? Because the Philippines is a human body. And if the toe is painful and is bleeding, the entire Philippines is bleeding. And the only person that can fix the toe is people who belong to that community. People like me that must go home, that must have the courage enough to go back to their own communities. All of us have our own communities. We from UP must find the time to go back to those communities, leave a legacy in those communities as a way of giving back for our UP education. Thank you.